Soon, the United States will mark an alarming milestone. By early February, more people will have died from gun violence here than in any other high-income countries. In Boston, families impacted by this violence continue to come together to raise awareness and work towards prevention. To share more on how they're working towards their goal, I'm joined by Alexis Smith, a Dorchester mother who lost her son Ameen to gun violence in 2017. So first of all, I just wanted to thank you for being here and say I'm so sorry for your loss, and also for the fact that you have been spending so many years without closure, because there's still no one that's been charged in that case, right? It's been something like 7 years.
It's going on December 8th, 2017 will be 7 years.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
I think that night he was just caught in crossfire, right? He was at a basketball game with his friends in Mission Hill. Can you tell me what you remember from that night?
Well, I remember I was getting ready to attend a friend's birthday party, and I was just walking in circles, oddly, for some reason, and I just felt something wasn't right, but I couldn't put a finger on what that was about. And shortly after I got a phone call stating that my son had been shot, I had called around to find out where he was. At first, I was sent to Boston Medical Center, what happened to be the wrong hospital. And then they directed me to the right one, which was Beth Israel Deaconess Center. So I went there, and when I arrived, my family was there, the doctors were there, and they briefed me on what was Ameen's condition and what they were doing to try to save his life. They allowed me to see him briefly, and I just prayed and, stepped out the room so that they can continue to try to save my son.
Yeah, and you've been kind of, I don't know, I can't imagine, but just kind of processing this, and then also coming together with other survivors to highlight the importance of this issue, right? I mean, just in that year, I think he was one of 14 homicide victims in Boston under the age of 20 years old.
Yes.
And we always talk about, I think, youth violence is increasing as a problem, but I don't want to just talk about it as a statistic either, right? Like, who was Ameen?
Ameen was a very vibrant, loving, gentle gentleman that was a Division I basketball player. He played for a traveling basketball team through AAU, which was called the Boston Spartans. He went to the Epiphany Middle School, which is located in Dorchester. So it was a full day of school from 6:45 in the morning all the way till 7 p.m. because they felt it would be really good for the kids' after-school program to be implemented into their day to combat just different things that could create children to struggle. So they created a full day of support, and also if a parent needed help with homework and they were, having a little bit of challenge in that area, if they didn't finish themselves, they provided extra support for the children, boarding school, track. Me played for their soccer team as well as ran track for them. And it was a beautiful experience. It's one of the healthiest experiences that he had. He graduated from there. He got the Emerging Scholar Award, the Gentleman Award, the 1-2-3 Kid Award, because he was just a vibrant person and brought a lot to his community. And he had a lot of amazing friends that loved him and that he had a positive relationship with. As he left that school, things started to change for some reason. All of the support that we was getting that was very healthy for him. Even him going to a sailboat camp at Thompson Island, he became a voyager, and he was a ship. He had also received another award from them on learning how to sail a big sailboat. So he was involved in a lot of productive things through that school, and it just changed after that for us.
Yeah, I mean, those are also, I think, when the topic of gun violence or community violence comes up, people often talk about those kinds of programs, right, to keep kids invested in their community and working and doing, like you mentioned, and he was doing all of that stuff. How have you I think that you have given back in a lot of ways to that kind of stuff, right? And the moms who have to go through this and the work that you've had to do to process this, it's heartbreaking. But how have you kind of found community and advocacy in the past 7 years?
Well, it's something that I've been doing before this happened to me and Ameen. I would volunteer at his school and support him since elementary school because he was struggling with suicide. And at that time, I was going to school and working, but I had to drop everything because his life counted on my active presence as a mother. So being in community with the children, going to church camp as a young girl, and being a part of different type of sports and community events that were, implemented for children in my community when I was younger, had created that for me to continue to be a community member and support the people in the city, people around us. It's a part of something that we are supposed to partake in. So with that happening and after that, my plan was always save lives and help families. Since I was a little girl, that was part of my legacy. So I do it naturally because it's who I am, and it's something that I've been passionate about for years, and I did it with Ameen and his peers. So I figured that it was important for me to continue because there's a lot of his friends and people in the community that has been affected by what occurred. So I thought if I can show them what it's like to heal and to get up and be strong and walk in their two shoes and to honor their loved one in a very loving, kind way, I can create a change of a narrative that's been going on in my city for a very long time.
Right. You grew up here, and you were a victim of gun violence when you were a child.
Yes.
As well.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I was 12 and a half years old. This happened on Halloween in 1994. I was heading home from spending time with friends, and there was a drive-by shooting, and I was running, trying to save myself, and before I could enter the hallway to find coverage, that's when I felt the pellets, or at the time I didn't know that's what they were. Over 30-something pellets had entered my body, and my lung collapsed, and I almost didn't make it, but I'm grateful I'm here to be able to still do things in life, but my future was altered because I could no longer play sports. So yeah, that changed a lot for me in my direction. But I still try to be grateful that I have some life and future left to do other things that I'm very passionate about, like this community work I do, and being an ambassador, and doing 3D healing art and working with the kids at the Peace Institute, Madison Park.
You mentioned the Lucy Brown Peace Institute, and then also Boston Moms Demand Action. So you're going to be at this event on Saturday, which is at the UU Urban Ministry in Roxbury at 1 p.m. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, my plan is to continue to share Ameen's story and bring awareness to gun violence and what's happening in our city, and how parents and children need more support, hands-on support, in our own mentors, advisors, social workers to support families when others are dropping the ball and not showing up and honoring and sharing the resources that are sent here to our state to help families when they're coming to them and saying, hey, this is my dynamic, this is what's going on, and I need your help. And the consistency is something that really needs to change. So I try to be consistent for people and show up for them because I know that it can make a big difference in their lives on an everyday basis. It's the small things that count, they say. Yeah. So me showing up, it helps. And that's good for me to know that what I do is going to create a difference for families tomorrow in the way that me and Ameen asked. So, yeah. That's my goal for this Saturday, is just to bring more awareness and to let my community know that I'm here to support them and to show them how you can turn your pain into purpose.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, Alexis. Thanks for being here.
You're welcome.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.